Hello, my friends. Liberty Garden coming to you from the home gym, April 28th, Friday. It's a beautiful night. We're about 60 degrees, almost the end of May, and it's beautiful weather still, so it's awesome. And tonight I wanted to take a few minutes to answer some of the questions and address some of the comments that I've been getting on these strength training videos that I'm doing. And there's a lot of comments out there that I do this, I do that, or you're doing this wrong, or you're doing this bad, or etc. To each his own, right? So I just want to give you an idea of what I'm doing, why am I doing this, as opposed to other training methods, and maybe some of you can get some information out of this. Maybe some of you get inspired to do some of this training, and maybe I get to dissipate some of the doubts or misconceptions there are about hurting your back and throwing your back and doing all these things, right? So first and foremost, I'm not an expert in this. I have very little experience, but I'm going to tell you where I started, and I'm going to read the little notes that I took because it's quite a bit of information, so I need to put on my readers. So I first started strength training back in October of 21st. Now, if you recall, we're in the middle of the pandemic, and there was not much to do. So I decided to go to the gym. I said, if I'm gonna catch the virus, I might as well be strong and healthy so that I can endure it better. And that's because, out of a personal preference, I did not get any of the jabs. So that's why I started training, right? At the time, I think I was a little bit overweight, or about 20, 30 pounds overweight. According to the insurance tables, which you basically need to be a walking stick to meet their standards. But anyway, that's besides the point. I was out of shape, right? The only workouts I was getting was at the farm and this and that, and so that was that, right? So I started in October 21st, and I went for 6 months, so until April 22nd. So that was last year around this time when I stopped going to the gym. Now, the gym that I went to was not just your regular 24-hour fitness or one of those gyms that are big box gyms where you just walk in there and do whatever you want. This gym that I went is called, it's a franchise of gyms called Starting Strength. And the founder is Mark Ripito. You gotta look him up. He's a very interesting personality. He's got a lot of opinions that a lot of people disagree with those opinions, but he's on the money. So listen to him with an open mind, and I'll guarantee you're gonna learn a lot from that man. He knows a lot. He knows his stuff. So anyway, I started going to this gym. It was expensive, but I wanted to get into a strength training program that was not a bunch of arm curls and leg curls and calf raises and that stuff. I wanted to basically get into a program that would get me strong. So I went to them. The classes came to about $30 a month, a session. If you prorate the cost by the amount, by the 12 sessions that you do in a month or 3 times a week. And so I started going with them. And my intention was, I'm going to learn the forms, I'm going to learn the proper techniques of lifting weights, I'm going to learn the routine, and then I stopped going and do this on my own. And if I ever need some reinforcement, I can always go back to the gym and get some help. So sure enough, I did 6 months. I learned quite a bit. I basically began doing my exercises with just the bar weight on my back. I started progressing from there. And when I stopped going there, I was doing a deadlift of 3 plates on each side, so basically 315. I'm sorry, it was 310. I never got to 3 plates on each side. It was just 5 pounds shy of 315, and then I stopped going, and that's where I left it off. And the intent was to almost continue at home doing it, but life gets in the way, and when you don't set time aside for something, it just goes by the wayside. So here we are, a year later. I started, or 11 months later, I restarted. I got some equipment, as you can see, I'm not working with much here. I just got a rack, some old weights that I bought off Craigslist, and a bar, and that's it. I don't have much, but the good thing is for this program, you don't require much to to do the program. It's a very simple program, very effective, and it gets you strong. So I started on 322. So today is my 6th week doing this. I haven't missed a single workout, and it's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I've had good weather, so even when it's drizzling a little bit, I still come out here and do it. And I find a way to do it. I try not to skip workouts, and I haven't so far. So right now I have 6 weeks. Since 3, I have 18 workouts under my belt. And right now you just saw me do 285 in the deadlift, and it's getting heavy for me. It's getting heavy. The floor where I'm at, it's not leveled. It's basically pavers on ground, on soil. It was level, but now it's not level anymore because I've been dropping this weight and I've been breaking pavers. And so I need to do something about this. Either build myself a platform with plywood and 2x4s, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing and leveling that and using that. That's something like what I had at the gym over there. I'll put a link to one video that I did when I was at the gym so you can see what kind of gym it was. It's a very nice gym. Basically, when you go to that gym, to a starting strength gym, you're going to get assigned a station. And so basically there's about 8 or 10 stations per gym and one instructor. And everybody gets the instructor. When you're going to do a set of deadlifts, a set of squats, a set of any exercise, the instructors, they're just looking at you and correcting your form, telling you do this, do that. You're not going to the proper depth on your squat. This, that, if you get injured, a little bit injured or something, they'll correct it so that you get recovery, etc. And they give you the program every day, every class you go. So it's like getting a personal instructor, except that it's only $30. So try getting one of those guys at the big boxes, one of those instructors at the big boxes. They want to charge you like $60, $70 a session for 45 minutes, and it's a bunch of credit they give you. So here, I mean, you just got to pay a whole month up front, which seems a little expensive, but when you prorate it by classes, it's a very good program. But anyway, that's besides the point. Look them up, Starting Strength Gyms, amazing gyms. If you got one nearby you and you have some money to invest in your health and yourself, go ahead and do it. Very good money, very well money spent. Okay, so the routine is Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And it consists when you're beginning, you start what they call a linear novice progression, NLP. I'm sorry, a novice linear progression. Yeah, NLP, novice linear progression, which means you're basically starting. They're going to benchmark you where you are. If you have some experience, they're going to start you at a higher point. If you have nothing like me, I had never done any weights in my life. They'll start you at the proper level, right? So they're going to gauge your strength and they're going to start you there. And you're going to start Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that's one schedule. You can do Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, etc. If you're kind of older, maybe over 65 or something, they may give you 2 days a week. And you're going to start with the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift every day. But and then like on Monday, and then on Tuesday you'll do the squat, overhead press, and the deadlift. And then on Friday you go back to squat, bench press, and deadlift. So you do that every day. You're going to be alternating the bench press and the overhead press. So you keep on doing the squat and the deadlift every day, and you alternate the bench press and the overhead press. And that goes on for about 6 weeks. And every time you go into the gym, they're going to try to add weight to your bar. So if you started, let's say you started your squat at, I don't know, 135 pounds, basically bar with two big plates on it, 245s on each side. The next time you go, you're going to get 140. And the next time you go, you're going to get 145. So on and so forth, until the instructor sees that you're starting to lose form, you're starting to struggle a little bit. At that point, they may back off a little bit. They may, instead of giving you like 3 days increments, they may go to maybe a couple of light days, volume days, and then a heavy day. They have a lot of experience to keep you progressing, right? So you never get stuck on just doing the same volume over and over again and not getting any stronger. They try to get you strong every week. Whoa. So that's how that program works. And let's see. So basically, once you get to a point where you are maybe 6 months into the program, you should be, I mean, it depends on your age, how strong you are, etc. A kid that's 25 years old, he's going to go he's going to move fast, right? On that weight, he's gonna start going through. In 6 months, he may be at I don't know, maybe 415 or 405 on the deadlift. 4 plates on each side. Young people, young men, they get a lot of strength very fast. I mean, young women get a lot of strength fast too. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You're competing against yourself always, right? So you're always competing at your last numbers, not the guy next to you or anything like that. So that's how it goes. Now, there's been some questions about so what is starting or what is strength training, right, as opposed to bodybuilding, and the difference between strength training and bodybuilding is that when you do strength training, you're basically doing big compound movements, like the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, the bench press, movements that are going to basically work your entire body. They're going to tax your entire skeleton. You're going to be loading your what's called, they call it the muscle skeleton system or something like that. You're going to be loading your body, and you're going to be getting strong. So basically your tendons, your ligaments, your muscles, your bones, and your brain, believe me, it's all going to get stronger. And I say the brain because when you start getting into heavy weights, man, you start waking up in the morning saying, oh God, I gotta go deadlift 3 plates, and you start worrying about that. Oh, I gotta put 3 plates on my squat, or etc. Right? So you're thinking about it. And when you go up to that bar and you don't set up correctly, and your mind is not there, and you may fail to pull, or you may fail to come out of the squat, right? So it's a very taxing exercise once you start getting into heavier weight, but it's very good. So because you're basically strengthening everything, right? Your tendons, ligaments, muscles, bones, everything. Now, what it's not is it is not strength training is not bodybuilding. So you're not going to go into the gym and do 20 repetitions of one exercise, and then move on and do another 3 sets of 15 for another exercise, and this and that, or biceps and leg curls, etc. Right? When you do these, the bench, the deadlift, the overhead, and the squat, you're doing 3 sets of 5s basically. So you're gonna start doing 3 sets of 5, and that's it. So it's not a lot of volume. It's just 3 sets, 5 repetitions, and you move on, right? But the sets are always getting heavier and heavier and heavier until you get to that point where they have to start backing off. Maybe towards the end, you start doing 2 easy sets on a Monday, like you saw me do last time. I backed off on Monday and Wednesday. I backed off a little bit. I did some volume, then I did a light day, and today I pulled a heavy deadlift. Heavy for me, at least, right? Like I said, I'm competing against myself. I'm not competing against anybody else. So basically, I was going 5 pounds every session on the deadlift up until last Friday when I got to 280 and it felt heavy. So I said I need to start pulling back. So a week later, today, this is Friday, I did 285. So I'm at a point where I'm only going to be adding 5 pounds per week to the deadlift. Same with the squat, right? I got to 200 last time. Every time I was increasing 5 pounds a session, and then last Friday the 200 felt a little heavy. So I did some volume on Monday. I did some an easy load on Wednesday, and today the 205 felt fantastic. So today I added 5 pounds to it, and it felt awesome. I did not even feel like it was heavy, because I let myself rest, and I did a little bit of volume, and that's it. But I mostly needed the rest. But now I'm only putting 5 extra pounds a week on the bar, which is okay. It adds up in a couple of months. Okay, so the biggest components to getting stronger under this program, and this is what a lot of people don't like, all right, because a lot of people think that you're gonna go into weight training or this or that, and you're gonna lose some weight. A lot of people want to go in there, they go with the objective of losing weight, and this program is not for losing weight. As a matter of fact, you're probably gonna put on some weight. You may put on some weight, you may lose some weight, but most likely you're gonna lose some inches off your waist. That's what it's most likely is going to happen. And what I mean by that is that if you're a skinny guy, they're going to ask you to basically take 500 calories more a day on your diet. because if you're a 5'9" male weighing 150 pounds, they're going to ask you to go from eating 2,000 calories to eating 3,000 calories, at least 4,000 maybe, for you to be able to put on muscle. And they're going to take you from 150 to 180, and you're going to look okay, and you're going to be a lot stronger, because you cannot get strong without eating good. And the other component of this is basically getting good rest, good sleep, right? Which, as an adult like me, the hardest part of this program is not it's not the working out. It's getting good sleep and eating well. You know, sometimes I skip breakfast. Sometimes I don't eat well at lunch. You know, so it's just the way it is. The hardest part is not the weights. It's the eating and the sleeping. You know, you need to get about 8 hours of sleep for your muscles to fully recover. If you're not doing that, you're gonna feel it when you're under that bar. You're like, man, I should have rested more. Okay, but that's how that works. So when I started this program, I was 215, right? Now that I'm 5'9", so that's a lot of weight for me. I should be at around 185, 190 for my weight if I have muscles on me. Of course, according to the insurance tables, I should be weighing 155, 150, right? But I mean, those days are long in my rearview mirror. I used to weigh 150 when I was 23 years old. I'm not going to get to that weight anymore. I don't want to get to that weight. So I started at 215 6 weeks ago. Guess how much I weigh today? I weigh 213. So you're going, well, gee, well, what are you doing? What are you doing wrong? I'm not doing anything wrong. I was 44 inches on my waist at 215 6 weeks ago. I am 41 and a half inches on my waist 6 weeks later. So I went down 2.5 inches on my waist. And that's all I care about. My clothes fit better, everything. So what gives then, right? You're gonna say, well, I mean, you have the same weight. Well, you put on muscle, and muscle weighs, and muscle that burns a lot more calories. So I don't necessarily weigh any less on the scale, but my clothes fit better. I feel better. I feel stronger. So that's what that is. So a lot of people go in there, especially women go to these gyms, and they want, like, oh, I want to lose some weight. I got to get a little belly. You know what? When you have a little belly fat, and you put 10 pounds of muscle on your legs and your butt, nobody's gonna look at the belly fat. Okay, I'm just saying that. I mean, you look better. You know, I saw some women that went in there into the gym, and 6 weeks later they were looking a lot better than when they started going. And it's not because they just lost weight; they just added muscle in the right spots. So anything. Let me see what else I have here. Okay, so I said it's not bodybuilding, it's not a weight loss program, and you may actually put on weight. Okay, so that's fair warning. Basically, a strength training program is about getting strong. It's not necessarily about getting skinny. It's not about looking like like all cut and everything. You know, if you look at me in the street, you would hardly know that I've been working out for 6 weeks. I mean, you can't tell, right? I mean, but a lot of these guys that are doing strength training, they don't look like much, and yet they can pull a lot of weight. I remember there's this guy at the gym. He was probably about 185 pounds, no more than 5'7", and he could pull 4 plates like nothing off the ground on a deadlift. And he was about in his early 30s, so he was just strong, and you could not even tell that the young man was that strong, just looking at him, right? So I think people think of strong people, what you see in the magazines when you're paying at the cash register, and you see this guy that's all 5% fat, and he's got veins popping out of his arms and everything. And I mean, that's bodybuilding. Okay, that's a whole different animal. I mean, I'm not saying those guys are not strong, but if you compare those guys to, for example, in the strongman contest, and or the Olympic weightlifters, I mean, they don't hold a candle to those guys. And you look at Olympic weightlifters, and I mean, those guys, they don't look cut, but they are strong. They're like an ox. So anyway, that's what strength training is, right? So the reason why I chose strength training over bodybuilding or anything like that is because I really don't have time to go to the gym 2 hours and work half an hour on your biceps, and then on Tuesday you do shoulders, and then you do leg curls and calf raises and all this stuff at the gym. that doesn't really get you strong. It's better than not doing anything, of course. Don't get me wrong. But doing arm curls may make your arms look a little bit bigger, but it's not going to help you pull weight out of the ground. It's not going to help you squat. It's not going to help you do anything functional in life, right? So that was my preference for doing strength training. I just wanted to get strong. And I mean, the deadlift gets you strong. I mean, the deadlift, you're gonna get strong. The squat, you're gonna get strong, and your whole skeleton's gonna get strong. Your bone density is gonna increase. That's the other thing. I am 51 years old, right? So I don't want to become a older and frail. I want to get older and be strong, have strong bones, be able to do things that 40-year-old guys cannot do. That's the type of thing that I'm going after, right? So that's I would recommend anybody that's in my age range, even if you have a little bit of a weight problem, or you may think you have a weight problem, do heavy weights. I mean, you're just get it right. You know, go to the gym, go to the website for Starting Strength, and they have countless videos there. I'll put a few links down there for you to see. They have a lot of videos on how to do the proper form. Pay a trainer from these gyms to instruct you how to do the proper form. And people, some of the things that I've seen in the comments, you know, you're gonna hurt your back, or you're gonna, you know, the herniated disc, or you're gonna do this. Well, the fact is that I know more people with herniated discs that have office jobs than I know people with herniated discs that actually do strength training. Herniated discs are a fact of life. You know, anybody after a certain age has a certain amount of degeneration on their discs. You know, sciatic nerve pain. What the hell do you think that is, right? And a lot of that stuff comes because you're sitting in a chair 8-10 hours a day in an office. It doesn't come from hard work. So the way to get stronger, to get your muscles, those muscles that support your back, is to basically pull some weight or get under a bar. You're not gonna get that by doing arm curls. You're not gonna get that by running. You're not gonna get that by, you know, doing cardio. You're not getting that crap. That, don't get me wrong. All that stuff is good. All that stuff is better than not doing anything. But unless you're 300 pounds, and you know, I wouldn't want to do cardio. I mean, start doing weights. Cardio is okay. Go for a walk. Go for a swim, but don't pound your knees for 5 miles on the pavement at 50. It's not going to do you any good. I mean, rather than that, get under a bar and do some weight, strengthen your bones that way. But anyway, to each his own. That's my rationale for picking a strength program versus running versus, you know, doing little weights here and there and digging around the gym. I want something that is simple and effective, and you can measure your how strong you're getting week after week. And I mean, you can see it. I have my log. I mean, I'll share my log some of the time. You'll see the progression. There's no lying to it, right? This amount of weight that I'm pulling right now, I couldn't have pulled it off the ground 6 weeks ago because I was completely detrained. I had not trained in 11 months, right? So I was detrained. It took me about 6 weeks to almost get to the point where I was before, and I'm still working on it. What else? I think I think that's about it. I mean, just keep that in mind that when you start getting stronger, you're gonna put on some weight. And there's a myth out there, you know, people exercise to lose weight. You lose weight by eating less. That's basically how you lose weight. If you have a surplus of calories, they're gonna turn into overweight if you're not burning those calories. So 90% of, I'll say 80%, I don't know exactly, but the majority of your weight comes in through your mouth. And it stops coming in the moment you close your mouth or you start eating healthier stuff, right? So if you want to lose weight, okay, fine. Stop eating junk food, stop eating, you know, crap, and the weight will come off. And you will hit a point where your body kind of stays, okay, this is where I belong. But if you're gonna start strength training, you're going to need those calories, preferably healthy calories, to be able to do the workouts. And then the weight will come off your waist. I mean, it's the waist number that matters, not so much the weight on the scale. If your pants are dropping, if your belt loops are, if your belt is kind of, you're having to put your belt on a different little hole every 6 weeks, that's a gain. You're doing good. You're doing good for your body at that point. You're not, the weight doesn't really matter. The weight that you're putting on is going to be muscle. And the pounds that you're shedding when you notice it on your belt and your pant sizes, that's all fat. So that's my 2 cents on this whole thing. I hope these videos. I mean, I'm mostly doing these videos. I mean, YouTube's it's not a source of revenue for me or anything like that. Again, like most of my videos that I do here for gardening, for ranching, and now for this, it's a log for me. It's a video log of my progress, of what I'm doing. But I sincerely hope that I can inspire some of you to start doing something positive for your life, especially if you're over 45. Get on it. If you're 40, a lot of people get heart attacks at 40, and because they're overweight, they travel a lot, they get crappy diets, they drink a lot, etc. So do something, right? And if you want to do cardio, yeah, okay, go ahead and do cardio. If you want to do, that's fine. Just keep in mind, when you start doing cardio, you're gonna get weak. You're gonna lose muscle and fat, because you don't lose just fat. Every time you gain or lose weight, you're losing a combination of muscle and fat. And if you put on weight, you're putting on muscle and fat. So when you do a strength training program, you're gonna put on weight, and it's gonna be some fat and some muscle. When you do cardio, a lot of cardio, you're gonna lose muscle and fat, right? So I'm at an age where I want the muscle. I don't want to lose muscle. I think muscle is very important for older men. It's important for everybody at any stage, but I think the older you get, you're more prone to falling down. You're more prone to accidents. And if you have a strong muscular body, and I don't mean like big biceps from doing 100 curls every night. I mean, like, if your whole skeletal system is strong because you've been overloading it with weight, you're going to be a little harder to break, a little harder to damage than if you are just like a little jogger that does 5 miles every morning. You're going to be skinny and you're going to break. So maybe not, but I'm saying muscle insulates you from a lot of problems. I think Mark Ripito, in his book Starting Strength, I think he starts the book by saying that stronger people are harder to kill and more useful. And so he says stronger people are harder to kill and overall more useful. June bugs, and that is so true. Strong people are just harder to kill. And I don't mean this like in a kung fu type of way. I mean, like, you fall, you might not break. I mean, if you're 80, if you've been doing strength training for the last 10 years of your life, and you're 80 and you fall, you're probably not going to break a hip. But if you have been sitting around your ass doing nothing for the last 10 years of your life, or for the last 15, 20 years, you're going to fall, you're going to break a hip, and you're going to go to the hole 6 months later. Sure as hell. So that's what he means, that when you're strong, you're a little bit harder to be damaged. You're less fragile. You're in the words of forget the name of this author. You're anti-fragile, right? You're not very fragile. Look up the book The Black Swan. Read the book. Excellent book, by the way. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I hope these videos get you inspired to train. If you have any questions, drop me a comment. I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability, but go to the links that I'm going to post in the video. They're excellent resources if you don't know where to start. Until next time, folks.